Hello and welcome back to the first ranking video of 2026. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and that's because the last one I did didn't get too many views. And part of the reason I think why is because I made the thumbnail look like the front cover of a Game Informer magazine from like 2005. But that's in the past. I feel like we're long overdue for another ranking video. Today we are ranking the calves of every Warframe. I've seen some suggestions in a bunch of videos to do this, so I'm doing it. I'm also going to do the format of this video differently. Normally I do like a countdown style, like 60 whatever to 1, and you know, it goes from worst to best. This time I'm going through every Warframe in alphabetical order and giving them a rating, so like tier list I guess. But it's still a ranking because a tier list is kind of a ranking, so yeah. Anyways, enough of that. That was like the longest intro I've ever done in my life. Let's get started. Alright, so first up we have Ash, and you can see immediately the age of the model we have here. It's pretty low poly and the textures are literally blurry. Like, it looks like I'm looking at a PS2 texture or something right here. I don't really want to count that part against him, but this is a ranking based off of aesthetics, so like, if your calf just doesn't look good, I can't rank you highly. That's just how it goes. I don't know. I just don't like it in general. Like past the like model part. Even if it looked modern, I still wouldn't like it. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. So I'll land it in a C minus. Alright, next up we have Atlas. This is where it starts to get good. Literally the second one we cover, it starts to get good. Also, did you know that Atlas vaporized an asteroid with a single punch? That's a pretty fun fact. But yeah, look at those calves. Those things are like immaculate. Like, look at the meatiness of it, the roundness, the juiciness of it. That's a perfect looking calf. I don't think I can give this anything other than an S tier. This is like an easy S tier for me. There's not really much discussion to be had here. Alright, next up we have Banshee, and I'm not sure what we have going on here. Normally I like how Banshee Prime looks, but the calves are not really it. Like, the shape of the calves are overall fine, but they're a little bit too like slender and unnatural looking. Like is she supposed to be on Ozempic or something? Like, there's nothing wrong with the calves being slender. I'm not counting that against her, but the unnatural part is what I'm counting against her. It just doesn't look right. And for that, I'm gonna go with the same category I put Ash in, which is C minus. Next up, we have Baruuk, and this one is pretty good. It's very similar to Atlas in that it has the meat and the juice, but like any Warframe Prime skin, they're gonna add some gold bits and some light up parts, like it's a Christmas tree or something. It doesn't look, you know, it doesn't detract from, you know, the calf itself. I want to put it in A tier. It's not as good as Atlas, but you know, it's still a very good calf. Caliban. This one surprised me. I thought this was gonna look super weird because sentient, but Caliban actually has some pretty normal looking calves. Like, there's nothing really out of place anatomy wise, but I guess we're talking about Warframes here, but like, I don't know, I guess I want the calves to look like a normal human calf. But anyway, yeah, this one's pretty good, pretty aesthetically pleasing. Like I said, for Atlas and Baruuk, it's got the meat and the juice. I'm gonna put this in A tier, same as Baruuk. So Chroma is a little bit of an interesting one. He has like an extra attachment on his calf. He like got 50 kills with it and unlocked the new attachment for it. Unfortunately, the butt cape is blocking the way from seeing the inner calf a little bit, but we can still see it, and it looks a little bit weird, but not too bad, and pretty similar to the Calibans and the Baruuks. The red dot sight that he has attached to his calf does really nothing for me, so for those reasons, I'll put him in A minus. Citrine. Right off the bat, you can see there is an elephant in the room, and well, we're gonna talk about it. The cut down the middle of the calf, it's gonna have to subtract some points for me because I don't know, it doesn't look good to me. I know it's Citrine. She has all the cut open parts, Do I think it makes the calf look better? Not really. If the calf were not cut open like that and it just was like attached to the rest of the body, it looks like it would look pretty damn good. So I'm gonna put it in B. I think that's pretty generous. Alright, up next we have Site 09, and well, I mean, it's a calf. There's not there's not a lot to say about this. I mean, it's a calf with an extra doohickey on it. You know, what do you want me to say? Oh my god, it looks so cool. It's whatever. It fits Site 09, I guess. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing too outstanding. The fact that I can't really think of anything to say about it means I'm just gonna put it in C tier and move on. Up next is Dagath, and I don't know why she has some bird skulls attached to her calf. Bloodbane giant crow from Elden Ring Night Rain looking ass. I'm kind of mixed on the bird skull part. On one hand, I think it looks weird and like just attached on. It doesn't mesh well with the rest of the calf, but at the same time, I do think it looks kind of cool and it does fit the character. So I think I'm just gonna put it in the same category as Citrine, which is B tier. B tier is fast becoming the I'm different category, and I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. Dante. So Dante's hiding the cast behind the robe he's wearing. I don't even know if you can call it a robe. It's more like some oversized cargo shorts or something. It's what I wore in middle school. So yeah, the oversized cargo shorts are blocking most of the calf, and the little we can see from the side view, they don't look too spectacular. So because they're blocked and they don't look too spectacular, I'm gonna put it in C tier. There was a little delay when I said C because I was debating C minus, but I think C is more appropriate. What the hell is even that? What foul curse has besmirched my eyes? What chicanery is afoot? What tomfoolery have my eyes witnessed on this day? Conduct me unto perdition, for that would be better than staring at this pair of calves. Ember's calves got me pulling out the extended vocabulary. F tier. Although it was fun bringing out the extended vocabulary. Alright, up next we have Equinox. So the in-between form and the day form have the exact same calves, and they look alright. They're not too bad. They have the extra weird like jutting out part, which I'm not too big of a fan of, but I mean it's not too big of a deal. And then you have the night form, very slender, very svelte, I would say. There's the extended vocabulary again. I would say both forms combined add up to B+. Alright, up next is Excalibur. And you would think John Warframe would have some pretty normal looking thighs, but I mean, not thighs. I'm stuck on thighs, I guess. Calves, but I don't know. They look kind of weird to me. Like the shape is okay. They're missing the meat and juice from the A and S tier calves, but they look okay. They look fine. I don't like how it's textured. The textures are like so irregular and weird to me. It's not that big of a deal, but it's enough to land it in a B- to me. Alright, so up next is Frost, and he has some very interesting looking calves. I don't even know you can call those calves. They're more like pillows or something. I don't know. I don't like it. Easy D tier for me. Alright, so we got Gara, and I'm a fan. I quite like it. It's a fairly good looking calf. It has the glass part on the top of it just attached like a, you know, like a red dot sight or something. She must have gotten 50 kills with it as well. But yeah, unlike with Chroma, where I thought the extra part attached to the calf kind of detracted or just really didn't do anything for me, I think the glass on Gara's calf actually kind of enhances it in a way. I don't know, maybe I'm just a fan of Gara, but I'm gonna give this an A tier. Alright, up next we have Garuda, and folks, I don't know about this one. I don't know why she has like a carrying handle attached to her calves like she's an M4 carbine or something, but it just makes the calf look worse. Like if you just remove the carrying handle, I would rate this probably like a B at worst. But now it's like a D at worst. And you know what? I'm gonna give it the worst. I'm putting it in D. Alright, up next we have Gauss. People get really mad at me for some reason why I call him Gauss, so I'm gonna continue calling him Gauss. I don't know, complain about it in the comments or something. So I'm gonna save a bunch of time here and just put Gauss in B tier, which is the I'm different category, and we're gonna move on. Alright, up next we have Grendel, the thick boy, who is about to have a thick girl join him soon. But anyway, that's a pretty good calf. It's definitely got the meat, but this is Grendel we're talking about, so I would be surprised if it didn't. It also has the juice. I would say this is a pretty easy A tier for me. Up next we have Gyre, and why does it look like her calves got that Revolutionary War haircut? She got that powder wig going on for the calves. About to go George Washington on their ass. She about to smash them like John Adams. She be cranking that Ben Franklin. She about to hand her that Alexander Hamilton. This shit ain't nothing to her, man. Anyway, C tier. Alright, next up we have Harrow, and this one is a little bit weird, but also a little bit normal at the same time. It's got the structure of being normal, but it's got the extra doohickeys of being weird. So I'm gonna save some time and put it in B tier because it is kind of a different one, but also because I don't think it looks that bad. So yeah. Alright, up next is Hildryn, and we have another situation where they just added a bunch of gold parts and attached it to the calf. This one's not too bad because at least it looks pretty well integrated and not just attached on like a Call of Duty attachment, but I don't know, I think it's still gonna detract from it because it looks kind of weird to me. Like, I think if they didn't have that part, it will look better. But it's not the worst, and the calf, just in general, even despite the extra gold part, still looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go with B minus. No, B. Next up we have Hydroid, and this was the only warframe in the entire game, I'm pretty sure, where I had to go into a Captura scene instead of just the arsenal, just so I can get footage of the calves, because it was impossible in the arsenal. Anyway, he decided to like put a pirate hat on each of his calves for some reason. I guess he really likes pirate hats. He is a pirate, I guess, but like, I've never heard of putting hats on your calves. You know, you do you, dude. You do you, and you have fun at doing you. And you can take that statement to mean whatever you want it to mean. I want to put it in C minus because they're not impressing me at all. Alright, up next we have Inaros, and I'm not really sure what is going on here. It's like someone made a deadly pair of slippers and attached them to Inaros' calves, if you can even call those calves. His legs look more like cylinders than legs. This one's going to be easy for me, I'm going to put it in D tier. Alright, up next we have Ivara, and these, dare I say, are already S tier. They rival the likes of Atlas. Like, everything about them, the shape, the texture, the juiciness, the meatiness. Out of all the frames that would get S tier on this ranking, I did not think Ivara would be one of them. Alright, up next we have Jade, and originally I thought Jade's calves would look like if an alien had a baby with an Oompa Loompa, but no, they look fairly normal. Fairly good even. Those are actually some pretty nice calves. Way too nice for how weird the rest of Jade looks. It's not S tier, but I will confidently give it an A tier. Alright, so riddle me this, Batman. What the hell am I looking at? Cause that ain't a pair of calves. That's what every Gooner's trousers look like when they stare at the Valkyrie or Ember heirloom skins for too long. Like, why is it so rhombus shaped? The angles are too sharp. They should be more round. I don't want to look at this anymore. I'm giving it a D tier. We're moving on. Koumei. I actually really like her visual design, and her calves are included in that statement. They look pretty immaculate. I don't have any complaints about them. Like, maybe the anatomy of the rest of the leg looks a little weird, but this is a calf ranking, not an entire leg ranking, so we're only counting the calves. And as far as the calves go, I think Koumei is going to join Ivara and Atlas in the S tier. Okay, so Kullervo's calves are a bit strange. They have their quirks, but the structure is there. Like, the foundation is really strong, but you just decided to add a bunch of unnecessary parts and then punch a hole into to it for some reason. Well, I guess the hole being punched makes perfect sense in this case because it's Kullervo, but besides that, I'm gonna put it in B tier because I think it lands in that I'm different category, and well, it just makes sense to put it in B tier anyway. Lavos' calves look pretty good. I don't really have any complaints. The structure is pretty good. The textures are fine. The only real complaint is they look kind of wet and slimy for some reason. Maybe Lavos was mixing the wrong chemicals and spilled them on his calves. I'm gonna put this in A- because they also do kind of look a little boring. The only thing keeping Limbo's calves away from F tier is because the fact that Ember's calves exist. And there's not a single pair of calves in the entire game that's as bad as Ember's calves. Well, at least I hope not. I don't think I need to spell it out for you. I think you can use the context clues and figure out where I'm putting Limbo. Alright, up next we have Loki, and what in the absolute hell am I looking at right now? I'm not even going to bring out the extended vocabulary for this. This is just absolutely hideous. It looks like there's a bunch of teeth growing on his calves. I'm putting this in F, which stands for fondle my fucking nuts. Alright, Mag's calves, I don't have very much to complain about. They're a perfectly good pair of calves. They have an almost porcelain or ceramic quality to them, which I'm not saying that's necessarily a good or bad thing, just an observation really. I guess the only complaint I would have is they're missing the meat and juice that I have been talking about, that like Atlas or Ivara or whatever have. So I'm gonna put it in A- because of that. Alright, so Mesa's calves is another one of those calves that have a bunch of gold parts attached to them, but I think it fits pretty well in this case. Like, my only complaints would be there are a little bit too many gold parts, and some of the parts look a little out of place, but it's not too big of a deal to land it in anything lower than B tier, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Alright, next up we have Mirage, and either I've just looked at way too many calves at this point, or Mirage's calves are just the most normal looking calves I've ever seen. Like, I want to put it in like C tier because of that, but that wouldn't make sense considering where I put other calves that look similar to Mirage, so I'm gonna have to put her in A. So I think Nekros might be on that Ozempic. Like, he has calves and they almost look fine, but they're just straight up malnourished. Which, I mean, it makes total sense for Nekros, I guess. He is supposed to look like this, so that means he is supposed to go in C- tier. Alright, up next is Nezha, and there's a bit too much going on here. Why does he have knee braces attached to his calves? It looks like he wanted to put knee braces on and forgot where his knees were. As far as everything else, like the little gold parts, how it's textured and modeled, it's not bad. It's not the greatest, but I won't really count it against them. But the knee brace, I don't really get that part. Going with the C+ for this one. Up next we have Nidus, and those are some mighty fine looking calves. The mutated form also very conveniently stops right at the calf level, so I guess that works out perfectly for this video. He does have that golden needle thing sticking into his calves. Like, what is he, afflicted with the scarlet rot from Elden Ring? Does he need Mikula's unalloyed gold needles sticking into his calves? Actually, if Nidus was an Elden Ring boss, he would probably inflict scarlet rot. Anyways, I'm putting this into A tier. Noko's calves look very strange, which is very expected of him. He's a very strange looking warframe. I'm not even going to talk about it though. I think we can safely put this in D tier and move on. Alright, next up is Nova, and here we have another pair of cylinder calves. If you've watched some of my previous ranking videos, you might remember that I am not a big fan of Nova's neck or legs, calves included. I don't think we have to linger on this one too much. I'm going to put it in D tier and we can move on. Well, what do you know? Who could have guessed it? Nyx's calves are basically identical to Excalibur's calves. I put Excalibur in B-, so I'm going to put Nyx in just B because I actually think Nyx's look slightly better. You know how you walk up to a random NPC in Skyrim and they say, you know those soldiers from Hammerfell? They have curved swords. Curved swords. Well, Oberon, he has curved calves. Curved calves. Like, why are they so warped? They're curved inward for some reason. It looks unnatural. Like, they would look like a perfectly fine pair of calves if it weren't for the curve. So, I'm going to put it in C. It would have been in B if the curvature wasn't there. Alright, so Octavia has a strange pair of calves, but Octavia has strange anatomy in general. So they have a completely plastic look, and they start really wide at the top and taper down very thin at the bottom, and they're also curved at the top slightly forwards. I'm describing what you can perfectly see, but like it's so weird that I just have to describe it. Unless you're just listening to the audio of this video, which I'm not really sure how that's gonna work out for you, but you know, you do you. With all that being said, I'm actually gonna put this in B tier because I kind of like it and it fits the I'm different category, so we're gonna go with that. Alright, next up is Araxia, and I'm not really sure what I was expecting before I recorded this, so it was to my pleasant surprise that this is actually a pretty nice pair of calves. They're a little thin, but I mean, she's a spider. They're kind of supposed to have thin legs, so it fits perfectly. Like, it still fits into the generally aesthetically pleasing category, at least to me, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Alright, Protea's calves look a tiny bit weird, but other than that part, they look pretty fine for the most part. I would say they look pretty good for the most part even. There's just something about the overall shape and the like placement of the textures that doesn't super sit right with me, but it's not that big of a deal. So I'm gonna put this in B+ tier. I somehow am simultaneously prepared and not prepared for Corvex's calves. Like, I knew they would look something weird, but not this something weird. I don't really understand the point of splitting up the two radiators like that. I feel like if you just had the radiator go all the way around the calf, it would look better. Possibly. Like, I don't really know what the point of the mini radiator is. Like, what is this? Bring your child to the calf ranking day? With all that being said, this is not as bad as Ember or Loki's calves, so I'm gonna put it in D tier. If only for the fact that it fits the character. But you could also argue that it's Corvex, so the calves had to look like that. So giving bonus points because they fit the character when they're gonna fit the character anyway, it doesn't matter. We're moving on. Alright, next up is Revenant, and I wasn't really sure what to expect when I recorded this. And I really like this. They're nice and symmetrical, really smooth looking, and I like the shape of them. So this lands in a pretty strong A+ tier for me. Alright, next up we got Rhino, and I don't know, they look kind of boring to me. They're fine, like the shape is fine, and like, you know, everything, like the textures or whatever, they're okay. They're just boring to me. I think I'm gonna put this in a, I'm between C+ and B- right now. I'm feeling C+. Alright, so I'm a huge Saren fan, not sure if you knew, but the calves, they're not really it. Like, the overall shape is okay. They're a little too like straight and rigid, but they still kind of look like calves. What I don't really like is the little split thing in the middle of the calf. I don't really know what the point of that is. I feel like if you just didn't have that, it would be a better looking calf. I'm gonna put this in C- tier. My, good heavens, that is a lot of meat. Am I in the establishment known as Arbiters? I tried to think of a long name for Arby's and went with Arbiter because of Halo. We're moving past that. Who decided Sevagoth should have the meatiest meat of all meat? He has meat everywhere. He has meat on the calves, meat on the thighs, meat on the arms, meat on the chest. He has meat in places meat shouldn't be. This is another S tier, I guess. And after looking at Sevagoth's calves, this is a little bit sad. They're not a bad pair of calves by any stretch of the imagination. They're just alright. And I actually do kind of like the asymmetry going on with the right one having the covering thing. I think that's pretty cool. Actually, that's the whole leg. The whole leg has the covering on it. Okay. I'm feeling a B+ for this one. Alright, up next we have Temple. And, yeah, I actually think they look alright. It's like, it has layers. It's like the normal calf is there, but it has the weird, like, jutting out outside layer covering the outer portion of the calves. The actual calf part looks pretty alright, but I don't know. I don't really like the jutting out part. I'm feeling a C tier for this one. Alright, next up we have Titania, and for this one I'm going to recite a small poem for you. Are you ready? This one's not too special, there's not too much to see, and for that good reason, I'm putting it in B. Alright, Trinity's calves are not bad. They're actually pretty good, I'd say. They look very manufactured, a very machined look, which doesn't necessarily fit Trinity, but I still think it looks pretty cool. I think this fits pretty perfectly in B tier. Alright, this is the newest Warframe Uriel, and these calves sure are something. I'm not disliking them, but I'm also not really liking them too much. Like, it certainly fits the character, and they don't look bad, but they still look kind of ugly in some ways. It's like ugly, but looks kind of cool, you know, that sort of thing. I'm feeling B- on this one. Alright, up next we have Valkyr, and wow, these must be the most boring calves I've seen since Excalibur. They're just a completely normal looking pair of calves. There's nothing wowing me, there's nothing really standing out to me, but I can't really say that there's anything bad about them, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. So Vauban's got them sledgehammer type calves, huh? Sledgehammer type shit. And I honestly cannot say that they look terrible. Normally these type of calves land in D tier, but there's something about it that's keeping it away from D tier. Maybe it's because they don't look big or obstructive. They kind of fit with the rest of the body pretty well, and they're just not ugly. I think C+ is a pretty good place to put these. So right at the gate, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm getting really strong B tier vibes from these calves. Also, I'm eating oranges right now, so that's why I might sound a little different. You know what? I don't think I need to explain any further. I'm just gonna put it in B tier. Also, damn, these oranges are good. Alright, next up we have Varuna, and what am I looking at here? This looks like the bottom of a trilobite or something. Why did they make it look so insectoid? Like, this genuinely looks so ugly. Is it ugly enough to reach the Ember and the Loki tier? It's getting real close. I don't think it's necessarily there though, so I'm going to put it in D-. It's almost F though. Alright, we're nearing the ass end of the list here with Wisp, no pun intended. And they're pretty good. She's got those green flames emitting from the sides of her calves like she's some fantasy necromancer. But I for one think they look pretty cool, so Wisp, you're in luck. Other than the flame thing though, they don't really look too outstanding, so I'm gonna put it in B+ tier. I expected Wukong's calves to look a little more, I don't know, interesting. Especially with Wukong being the only frame with the visible butthole. Don't ask me how I know these things, you already know the answer. Also, I'm not the one that made the model. Anyway, visible buttholes aside, Wukong's calves kind of remind me of Excalibur's calves, and I believe I gave them a C+, so these are also going in C+. Alright, so we got a little bit of asymmetry going on here, which is pretty normal for Zaku. I do like it quite a bit. They fit the frame, and both calves look pretty good in their own way. I think this one's a pretty easy B tier for me. Alright, next up we have Ureli, and I'm not really sure about this one. They look kind of weird. They don't look terrible, but like I don't like the split across the middle part, like it's supposed to be the Red Sea or something. And the gold part jutting out, it kind of fits the frame, I guess, but I don't know. I like the rest of Ureli. I don't really like the calves that much. I think I'm gonna put this in C tier. Alright, last up we have Zephyr, and I gotta say it, that's cool as hell. You got like the propulsion engines in the calves. That's actually so cool. I love this design. And the actual calves themselves look pretty damn good as well. I'm gonna give this a really strong A+ tier. And that about does it for the calf ranking / tier list. If you need to remind yourself on what I gave a specific frame, there will be timestamps, and I did the frames in alphabetical order, so you can just click on them and find out. Let me know what you think of this format where I just go through each frame and give them a letter grade in a tier list style instead of the descending order style that I usually do. This style takes me less time and effort to make, so I obviously prefer it, but if you don't like it, then I will go back to the old style. I might alternate between the two as well anyway, so we'll see. How fast the next ranking video comes out depends on how well this video does, so make sure you hit that like button and hit the subscribe button too while you're at it. I've heard they help. But anyways, that's about it for this video. You have yourself a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.